As I mentioned, commerce has evolved, and it's really just the beginning. In the 50s, credit cards came on the scene. In the 90s, e-commerce started to take off. In 2007, we see mobile commerce starting to take off with the invention of the iPhone. I remember summer of '07 getting my first iPhone. It's come a long way since then. We're also seeing subscriptions really take off in the past decade. People are becoming much more comfortable entering their credit card and personal information online to make that shopping experience more convenient each time they return. And we're also starting to see new ways people are paying, whether they're paying with Apple Pay, Android Pay, or even the recent speculation of cryptocurrency being a new form of payment that will be taking off. So as I mentioned, mobile commerce has really started to gain traction in the past decade. Mobile commerce is actually growing 3 times as fast as regular e-commerce. And it's predicted by 2020 that half of e-commerce will be done on a mobile device. And if you're not buying from your phone, you're at least using your phone or mobile device to contemplate buying. So ever see someone in a department store shopping but also on their phone? Maybe they're texting a friend, but they're probably also price comparing. This has become very common. They might be reviewing other people's feedback on the product. So 82% of consumers are at least consulting their mobile device before making a purchase. As I mentioned before, we're getting pretty comfortable entering our credit card details on many websites. That experience of feeling that you don't have to enter your billing and shipping address every time, that you can see what you ordered last time, also enabling the merchant to make recommendations for you, so that makes your shopping experience feel a bit more personal. So last year, 44% of purchases were made with card on file. And it's not just the guys like Amazon, it's many, many more retailers. So a third of consumers actually have card on file with at least 5 retailers. So think Target, think J.Crew, The Gap, anything under the sun. More and more retailers are employing card on file because they want to create that personalized journey, and they also want to create convenience. Less clicks, the better when making a purchase. We're also seeing a lot of retailers employ cart abandonment features. So if you've ever realized when you're shopping and then you get distracted, have to go do something else, you might get an email saying, hey, do you still want to buy this red t-shirt? That's because the retailer is watching you shop and seeing that you have abandoned your cart. So getting you re-engaged into that shopping flow is part of their entire strategy to keep you engaged and to make you to come back and buy what you were shopping for. As I mentioned in the beginning, we're hearing that brick and mortar is going away. And to some extent, that is definitely something we're observing. Traditional models are definitely failing. We've all seen over the past several years, many retailers completely disappear. Does anyone remember Mervyn's or Gottschalk's? Those guys no longer exist. More recently, Toys R Us. Last year, BCBG, a very popular women's retailer, went away. So what are they doing wrong? Many of them did have an online site. Many of them did have e-commerce teams. So it's not that they weren't trying. I think Williams-Sonoma CEO Laura Alber really captures an interesting observation. It's not Amazon that's killing retailers, it's bad service that's killing retailers. Williams-Sonoma is an interesting one. They've been actually at the Omni Channel game for quite a while, some say over 20 years. It all began when they started collecting physical addresses for their catalogs that they would mail to their customers. They actually probably are the one brand that's tracking a lot of consumer data. It's estimated that 70% of purchases are being provided with an email, physical address, phone number. So they have an entire data mine full of consumer details, and this enables them to really personalize the shopping experience. So rather than just send emails to you leading with a discount, they are able to really make it personal to what your interests are. They're able to compliment you, let you know you have great taste. They also are making sure that everything is mobile optimized, since they know that over half of emails they send are being opened on a smartphone. They're also trying to mitigate any unfortunate experiences you may have when shopping online. So say you find an item that is out of stock. Rather than tell you it's out of stock, they're instead letting you know that, hey, your San Francisco location has that item. So they're doing the little things, and those are really adding up. In addition, they're making sure their organizations are working together rather than in silos. So that means employees in the store are being given credit when a sale is even made online. So this term of agnostic compensation is very important there. So the customer is really at the middle of this experience. For any retailer that's really thriving in this omni-channel world, they're really trying to figure out what is the customer doing? Where are they discovering us? How are they being messaged to, whether it's via email, whether they see an ad when they're riding the bus to work, whether they're texting with a friend, whether somehow data that they entered is being transferred via API, so that an in-store purchase that they made is being used to create a customized email to let them know about an online purchase that they should be considering. Another company that's really started to think about the entire omni-channel experience through the consumer's eyes is Sprint. So back in 2015, they really revamped their whole digital model, taking into account how digital to in-store purchases are related. They called out that 1 in 4 Sprint mobile search ads ends up in a store. So 1 in 4 people who click on an ad end up in the store, meaning that they really need to bridge that experience. So however that ad made the person feel, they need to emulate that same experience in store. Following their transformation, they have the ability to track multiple channels within a single view of the customer, enabling them to be that much more connected to their customer and be able to really provide them solutions that meet their needs. Other retailers that are making strides in this omni-channel world include Walmart. So they've deployed tech that lets in-store shoppers check out on their own. You've probably also seen this in Target. So this is allowing, again, the consumer to be the center of the experience. Rather than wait in line, they can decide when they're ready to check out. In the QSR space, quick service restaurant, for those that don't know the acronym, Panera 2.0 self-order cafes are really starting to also employ this technology to allow consumers to go into a cafe, enter their order without mistakes, be upsold perhaps on items that maybe an employee may forget to mention. And this also allows the employee to really focus on what they do best, creating the food order. These cafes are continuing to outperform traditional cafes. So again, this is definitely a demand that consumers have. More locally, I don't know if anyone's experienced the specialty cafe kiosk experience. They make great cookies here in the city. But again, especially during lunch rush hour, you can go in, place your order, and not be held up. So what's the common thread? We know brick and mortar isn't going away. We know e-commerce is continuing to grow. We know this concept of personalized journey is continuing to pick up. Customers are expecting what they want, where they want it, how they want it, when they want it, and they're not just expecting a trip to a store. They're expecting an experience. So both these images look pretty similar. The far left one is a London Apple store. On first glance, it really looks perhaps like it might be a cafe or a student gathering area. It doesn't really feel like a store. On the far right bottom corner here, this is Everlane, which is an e-commerce retailer. They started in the online world, moved to also providing pop-ups in various cities. This location is in New York. Again, it doesn't really feel like a traditional brick and mortar retailer. It doesn't feel like a shoe store. It looks like a plant store actually, but it's providing an experience in a different way to shop. So again, retail, the focus we're seeing now in the thriving retailers are on experience. Experience meaning experiencing the brand, the people being the employees that work at the store, and also the products. While it's convenient to buy online, we still often want to touch and feel and try on what we're buying. So a couple examples here. Bonobos Guide Shop. This store is designed for gentlemen to come and be guided through choosing an outfit. People can make 45-minute appointments. It feels very personalized. That was started, I believe, back in 2012. Nordstrom Local just announced, so Nordstrom just announced a few months back that they will be starting to roll out Nordstrom Local. These are 3,000 square feet locations compared to their 140,000 square feet, 7-story locations. These locations aren't being designed to hold inventory. They're being designed to provide personalized shopping experiences for people. There are salons inside where people can get their hair and nails done. There's a bar with not just alcohol, but also fresh pressed juices, coffee. So it's really creating this environment for their e-commerce shoppers to perhaps come in store, try something on, think about buying it later online, or maybe they bought online and they want to pick up locally in store. If that's the case, the store actually will work with a larger Nordstrom 7-story location to have the inventory transferred before pickup. So there's a lot of coordination happening behind the scenes, and the first and foremost purpose of these locations are not to sell in-house inventory. Warby Parker, so they've also moved from e-commerce to extending to also having pop-up stores in major cities. I believe there's one right here in Union Square. They really cater to allowing you to try on frames, but you're not necessarily leaving with those frames. You're having them ordered to be delivered to your home. Casper is another great example. This company started in 2014. They design mattresses that can be delivered in a box that's 20 by 20 by 40 inches. So you open this box and the mattress expands. You can return it after 100 days if you don't feel that it's meeting your comfort needs. So Casper reacted to this demand for consumers to want to experience their product, experience their brand. They recently have started to roll out more pop-up locations, or they're actually permanent pop-up locations, for people to come in, experience what their pillows, their beds feel like ahead of making a purchase. And this has really allowed them to traverse that online and in-person shopping experience. Then we have the overachievers. So Uniqlo and Topshop have rolled out magic mirrors. If you notice the woman in the pink jacket on the left, she is looking in the mirror at an image of her wearing a white jacket. So rather than finding an employee to help her find another color and her size, she can actually just tell the mirror what color she wants to see herself in. On the far right, we see a woman not even wearing a dress, but just looking into the mirror with the dress on her frame. So this is not just shopping, it's an experience, it's entertainment almost. Sephora has also rolled out recognition kiosk technology. So you can sit down at a makeup counter and rather than putting lipstick on, you can have your face scanned and recommendations will even be given to you based on maybe skin tone or styles that you've purchased previously. And you can see this woman clicking on one of the shades and seeing what that looks like in the mirror. So how does this tie back to Square? I've given lots of examples of omni-channel. Omni-channel is a very big focus for Square, not only this year, but we believe in the coming years. And I think it would be helpful for me to just define omni-channel through Square's eyes. It's been given a lot of different definitions. But the way we're really seeing omni-channel is that a true omni-channel experience is enabling sellers to reach buyers everywhere they are. So in Square World, we refer to merchants as sellers. We believe that the channel extends beyond a website, beyond a brick and mortar location. We believe that commerce extends beyond the actual purchase. The reality is that buyers are everywhere. They're on websites, they're on apps, they're on their phones, they're in chat channels like Slack or GChat, they're reading reviews on Yelp. So they're really everywhere. And it's important for sellers of all industries to be able to reach and engage with those buyers no matter where they are on the buying journey. Whether it's discovery, at the moment of purchase, fulfillment, returns, refunds, feedback, or even at the loyalty phase and providing that continued engagement with the customer. Square works with many kinds of partners to deliver these unique experiences. We give sellers choice and offer them the best tools, even if that doesn't mean we're building all of them. So we've invested very heavily in platform, and we really value and depend on our partners and developers to help provide these very unique omni-channel experiences. To name a few, e-commerce partners such as BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Eckward, and GoDaddy have built omni-channel solutions. They've enabled our sellers to create an item catalog once and then deploy that to maybe their 3 locations, their website, and once their inventory starts to deprecate, they can see the true inventory count across all locations. Shake Shack partnered with Square and Fuzz Productions to offer self-service ordering to improve speed and experience. So we all know Shake Shack for their burgers, fries, and delicious milkshakes, but they're more than just a QSR. They are a tech innovator. They're really looking to their customer base and understanding what it will mean to keep them engaged. They're making sure that there's not that rush hour line that actually makes their customer choose another option for lunch. So not just self-order kiosk in store, but also pre-order on their app and then pick up in store or delivery. The North Face partnered with Square to deploy mobile point of sale, cutting down on congestion times at the registers. So I'm sure we've all been in that place where you've shopped around for 10, 15 minutes and then you go to the checkout line and it's out the door and you decide, you know what, I'll go buy this online later. Then you go home and you can't find it online. So what we're really trying to do to help these larger retailers is to prevent any loss of sales by enabling them with line busters. Cleveland Clinic partnered with Square to build self-service kiosks. They used our Pay SDK. This speeds up check-in for patients and also improves accuracy of patient data. In the transportation space, DC Taxis was working with Square to create complete digital meters that are only accepting credit card payments. Gone are the days of the taxi not saying they accept credit cards and they only want cash. They've become the first city to become completely digital in payments. TNT Fireworks partnered with Square to deploy 6,000 mobile point of sale across 4,000 locations. They really could only come to Square, and these were their exact words. They needed to be able to quickly send out 6,000 point of sales. They needed to be able to quickly train all of their employees, which many were temporary staff. And they needed to be able to see in real time how sales were going across all locations, how inventory was going. And late last year, Eventbrite partnered with Square to provide an omni-channel experience for event organizers, enabling them to manage ticket sales, food and bev, and also merchandise at events. Thank you.
So questions for Gabriella? Thank you. Questions?
Oh, yeah.
No,
What are some strategic areas that you guys are looking for right now as it relates to, I didn't even see it coming. I'm glad they knocked me out. That would have been awesome. As it relates, what are strategic areas that you're looking to partner in as it relates to Omni Channel and or future growth initiatives for Square?
Great question. I think as we continue to really focus on the omni-channel experience, we're not only looking at new verticals such as medical space, transportation space, but we're also looking to partner with not only platforms and technology partners, but we're also looking at solution providers. Fuzz Productions, we just called out on one of those slides, worked with Shake Shack and used our Pay SDK to build that very unique kiosk experience. So we're finding that as we move up market, a lot of larger retailers are not only looking at the technology, but they're also looking at someone to help build these more custom solutions. And often those are value-added resellers, solution integrators, consultants. So that's an area that we're looking into as well.
other questions? You guys have questions? Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you so much, Gabriella.